Hello everyone, it's Vicki here today, designing for Simple Stories, and I'm using the new Simple Vintage October 31st collection, and this is obviously a Halloween collection. My idea here is to draw and use a 3D pumpkin as my background. So I drew it before I came on camera because I was fiddling with it quite a bit. It's just a very basic pumpkin shape, and I drew it onto just plain photocopier paper, and now I'm just cutting it out to use as a template. So you'll see I've just sort of got an oval in the middle and some shapes either side. Very, very basic. Okay, so I've cut out the template, and what I'm going to do is stick that to my paper and then cut it out. And I'm going to leave it on the paper actually, so I'm not worried about sticking it down permanently. It's going to stay on there, it doesn't really matter. So just stick all the pieces there, and I'm sticking them on the reverse side obviously, so that when I cut it out I have the orange on the front. I love this paper, it's just sort of textury, grungy, and little white text all over it. I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to skip through cutting through all these pieces in just a second, but I cut through them all and then I distress the edges of all of the pieces just to add a little bit more texture to it. And that's my photo I'm going to use over there of my niece. She's pretty cute. She's too old for Halloween now, of course, but so I have to use older photos. I'm just drawing the stalk for the pumpkin, and I'm going to do this in the same way I did the pumpkin pieces. I'm just going to draw a little template, cut it out, stick it on the back, and that's going to be distressed as well. So I just put it on this piece of paper. It's got this photocopy paper, and then it's going to go onto a piece of the 6x8 paper pack. I'm going to put it on the back of this one, and it's black. It's sort of a black with a black cobweb on it. So it's black on black, sort of, I guess, black on grey. And I thought that would work pretty well. So again, I drew on the back. I didn't stick on this time. I just drew around it and cut it out. It's quite small, so I didn't have to worry about it slipping. So as I said, distress the edge as well, and then I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media. I'm just going to mark up around this pumpkin where the orange is so that I can put some ink on there. So I'm just putting a pencil line within the boundary of the pumpkin so that you can't see it later, because it's much more difficult to rub out, get rid of once you've done your ink. So here we go, I'm using distressed oxide, which is called carved pumpkin appropriately, and I'm going to use a brush and just blend some ink around that edge that I just marked out. It's very subtle, you can't see much of it on the final layer, you just see a little glow around the pumpkin, so I'm quite happy with that. Go. I'm just blotting it off on that piece of paper at the top so I don't get any big blotchy bits on it. So I think I'm done here, but then when I put it back on, I realised that you can still see the white in the gaps of the pumpkin, so I didn't really want that, so I'm going to put some orange also in there. And I missed the little areas it's got to go to the first time, so I have to do it again. I may as well have just filled it in the first place, I feel. But there we go. So just filling it in. It doesn't need to be perfect. Most of this, as I said, isn't going to be seen, so it's all good. So next I'm going to put foam on the back of these shapes and also on the stalk. So this is just sticky back foam that I got in a craft shop. Sticky on one side and then you put glue on the other. So I've skipped through that as well, and I've just taped them all to the page with double-sided tape, and that works pretty well. Okay, so that's my pumpkin base. Now my photo that I have here, I want to cut it out. I've done this before. You cut the subject out of a photo, and the reason I wanted to do this is because the background's just a plain white, and I didn't want all that white on my page. So I decided to cut around the picture. It was very simple shape, and yeah, I think that works out pretty well. There we go. And so I'm going to pull out the chipboard frames that come with this collection. And I love the frames in Simple Stories kits because they're already clustered. So I have a think about which one to use, and I decide to use that first one that I tried out. And I'm going to have her sort of popping out of the frame so that she's partially in it, partially out of it. And then I'm just looking now for some other little bits and pieces that I can layer up onto this. I love this little banner that says October. So I decide to put that across the top of the pumpkin where the pumpkin itself meets the stalk. And I think that's pretty cute. Sort of works really well there. The shape of it works really well, I think. And I'm going to stick my photo to the frame so that it doesn't move and I can start to cluster and know where it's going to be. I just stick the very bottom of the photo to the bottom of the frame, and then they're attached permanently now, and there's no reason it will move around. So I'm going to start to cluster and choose some from the bits and pieces. There are lots of pumpkins and cats and fairies and witches and all sorts in here, and so I'm just going to layer a few of these things up to build up a cluster on each side of the photo. Here's some more bits and pieces. You're spoiled for choice in this kit, honestly. I could make many layouts and still have lots. Okay, so that there is going to be my title, Happy Halloween, and I tried to change that up for a puffy sticker, a foam sticker, excuse me, later, but it doesn't work. I think the foam sticker, here it is, I think it's just that little bit too big, so I stick with the black one, the bits and pieces one. I love Simple Stories foam stickers for titles. They are fantastic, but as I said, it's just a little bit too big for what I wanted on this one. Okay, this is a foam pumpkin. I just put some kitchen towel on the back of it to stop it being sticky so that I can still move it around at the moment. So I'm going to stick the frame down. I know the frame is going there, and I just want to start getting things stuck to the page before I get too far with my cluster building. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to stick everything down that I had in place. This is a little cat sitting on top of a pumpkin, and I think it's super cute. And so I'm going to put that in there, and there's just a plain pumpkin that's going to go above. Sort of very realistic looking, some of these bits and pieces. I mean, they're not realistic, but they, you know, that pumpkin looks almost like it could be a photo, and I love it. Okay, and this is the little, I don't know, I think it's a fairy because it looks like she has wings. Oh no, it is a witch. She has a little hat hanging off her head on a broomstick. So I thought that was quite cute. And pumpkin down here, a little tag that says boo. I think it actually says boo to you, but you can only see boo once I've finished with the layout. Stick that pumpkin on and stick the title. What am I thinking at the moment? Oh, the bats. I love these bats, chipboard. So I'm going to put those onto my layout, definitely. They're totally needed. And I'm going to stick down the title. I'm putting some foam at the bottom on the right. The bottom left is sort of on top of a piece already, so the bottom right isn't, and that will help it keep flat because it's going onto the chipboard frame. Okay, there are more bats, I realise, in this pack, which is the page pieces. And so they've got to go on. The more the merrier when it comes to bats, I feel. And they work really well on Halloween layout, of course. I'm sticking those, and then I'm going to also stick down the chipboard bats because they're quite small, the sticky on the back doesn't always take. So I just wanted to make sure they were stuck down, and I'm not going to lose them later on. That was me just holding the layout up so that I could look at it. I didn't want to stick my head over and you all have to see my hair. Okay, so what are we doing next? Oh, I love this little piece that says October Memories, and I want to put that there. The bat's in the way, but I moved the bat and that fits in well. Okay, those two little kitties are wearing witches' hats, and I thought that was just perfect. So they're going to slot into there, and that's why you can only read Boo on the little tag there. A couple of hearts in because always a few hearts when you've got a cute little face on your layout, of course. There's me looking again at the layout. There's so much on it. I just wanted to just make sure it felt balanced. Okay, and then I've got these brads that I want to put on here. One says wickedly cute, one says eek, and the other has a spider web on it. And I thought they would look really cute on there. And I think we're done. Yep, there is the final layout. I hope you like it, and I hope it gives you some inspiration for Halloween. It's always a fun time of year for scrapping, I think. But have a look at the close-ups. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. And please subscribe to my channel if you can. I would really appreciate that. But thank you so much for watching. This has been Vicky for Simple Stories. Bye-bye.